294-0970 at 9:30. John, go ahead. You have Chief St. John and Officer Tom Keeley with you. Go ahead, John.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I guess, first of all, I'd like to say that I totally respect the police chief, fire chief, and I think you guys deserve any of the money that you can possibly get. I think you guys do a great job. I think you're very well respected here in the community. That being said, my issue with the safety mill levy is just some trust issues that I have with City Council and different decisions that they make and how they handle money and these levies. For instance, when we had the public safety mill levy several years ago, we found out that money wound up going to a lawsuit that the firefighters had, as opposed to going to the intended use of supplementing the fire service. The other issue that I have is that it seems like after we vote on issues like this, and especially if the vote goes through, and everyone will be taxed this money, and we're thinking the money is going to go to the right place, it seems like within a few weeks or within a month after something like that goes through, City Council will find a way to increase taxes without having to go to a vote. It's almost like they wait until after the tax vote to the people. They wait till after that happens, and then they will increase taxes that they don't need a vote for.
Well, let's get a response from Chief St. John and Tom Keeley, Billings PD.
Well, a couple issues there, John. First of all, thanks for your comments and your call. I hear that concern regarding the lawsuit all the time. It's a very, very unfortunate thing, and I can't speak for the fire chief and exactly on how the logistics played out on that. That was a personnel matter, and the monies had to be paid out of a personnel budget. There were no reductions. They just rescinded some job offers. They did build the station. As far as the police department is concerned, everything that we promised the public for the 2004 levy, we did. 15 officers, I believe, some support, some vehicles, and we will do the same thing if this current one passes. I assure you that the money that comes in goes entirely to public safety. One of the myths that we hear, or some of the perceptions that we hear, is that the public safety monies are filtered back to the general fund for other city functions. And in fact, 54% of the public safety budget and 64% of the general fund monies goes the other way to public safety. As far as the taxes that you're talking about, the City Council, I'm not familiar with what you're talking about there, but and I can tell you that the public safety monies go entirely to public safety.
Okay. And that's great. I guess the concern I have, as I recall, and this has been several years ago, I don't remember what levy it was that was passed. It could have been a school levy or anything like that. But it was just within a few weeks or a month after that, they decided to pull that whole parks district thing where they increased money for parks, and they did not have to go to a vote of the public to do that. And that's the example that just kind of is on the tip of my head. But I know there's been a couple of other things like that, where again, after this vote goes through, next thing you know, you're going to see your tax bill. It's like, okay, there's the mill levy that I voted for, but what's this other stuff that I didn't vote for? All that stuff that they snuck in after the fact.
I'm going to have, hey John, I'm going to have Police Chief St. John address that after the break here. If you can listen on the radio, we'd appreciate that. Okay?
Hey, thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
All right, you too. 294-0970. Well, first address John's second comment, and then what do you see the momentum? Where do you see the momentum swinging today for Oregons?
Right. Well, to John's second question, really plays to decisions that are made by the policy body on assessed taxes, assessed fees, or things like that. I'm vaguely familiar with the situation he's talking about. I don't know how that came about. I can assure John that whatever was done was legal. We have legal representation, and they get advice to do this, that, or the other thing. So I too would be concerned if something showed up that wasn't expected. I don't want to speak out of school there. I don't exactly know the situation surrounding that. As far as momentum as we go forward, I think everybody that we've talked to has been very supportive of public safety. They appreciate the service that the men and women of the police and fire are doing. Speaking specifically for the police department, some great work has been done over the years. We've had some egregious crimes. We've solved them all. We're working very hard with our partners in the public to address some quality of life issues, and frankly, the citizens are getting a great value for the dollar based on the amount of officers that we have. The biggest questions and concerns that we have are exactly what John was talking about, is that, the money. How does the money flow? Where does it come from? What does it look like? Why do we not have, additional revenue with all the growth that we're seeing in Billings? And there are some specific reasons for that have really handcuffed us, excuse the pun, in...
the pun fits, though, actually.
The fun pits. The fun pits.
Pun fits.
Right. So it really does paint a picture of what our financial situation is and why we're going to the public asking for additional monies.
This is a brutal question, and I know that you guys have thought about it, and more so on November 4th. What if it doesn't go through? I mean, the growth of the Billings still goes, crime still happens. Then how do citizens like me feel? What should we do? Well,
what we have planned, what the city has planned is they saw this day coming, and basically there are $10 million in unbudgeted reserves. That means that the money that the city needs to do day-to-day operations is what they call budgeted reserves. So you're making payrolls, securing your loans and your bonds and all that. $10 million has been set aside to fund public safety. Regardless of whether the safety levy goes through or not, that $10 million is going to be applied, which will carry us to FY17.
Which is
2 fiscal years from now. All right, so if the levy goes, we apply $10 million to the first 2 years, which helps lower and mitigate the mills assessed in the first 2 years. And then we pick up and go from there. If the levy fails, then that $10 million will be applied through FY17, and then we're at a crisis in 17-18. That's when we don't have any more money from reserves to fund this. And so that's when we're going to have to start looking at some very, very difficult decisions.
Well, 2017, 2018, at least in my world, I live day by day, but in my world, that's like just down the street, around the corner.
It is. Our fiscal years go from July to July. We're in 15 right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, a year and a half, 2 years tops, and we'll be at a point where if the levy fails, then we're going to have to make some hard decisions on what your service delivery, what your business model is going to look like for both police and fire.
Main topic today is the safety mill levy. Mark 2940970. Go ahead, you're on, sir.
Yes, I just had a question about, do we service the Briarwood Estates, Yellowstone Country Club, and the Ironwood Estates? I don't believe they're in the city limits.
They are in the city limits, and they are serviced by public services to include police and fire.
Oh, so the city limits goes way out there. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that's one of the messages that we want to get out to the public is I don't think people know how big Billings is. We service 43 square miles, 109,000 people, and out on the flanks we are seriously overextended. And you mentioned Ironwood and even further out than that. So we have some pretty lengthy run times, and we need to get out there.
Yeah, that's further out than I thought it was too. Good question.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.